States weekend. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. All right. Yeah, so welcome everyone to today's session where we're going to talk again with a winner of a hackathon, and not only one. Sunny is actually the winner of 2 ETHGlobal Hackathons, and she has probably participated in many more, but she will tell us this in a second. I'm very happy to have her tonight because she has so much experience in the blockchain space. I'm sure she will introduce herself and tell us everything about that. And in today's session, we will speak about not only how to successfully participate in a hackathon, but also how to take it to the next level, how to start a company out of your hackathon project, and what could be the challenges and what are the opportunities in starting a company. So Sunny, welcome. It's great to have you here. So please introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself, about your blockchain experience.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you for having me here. I think we know each other already some years, I think. And well, it is really great to witness or to know that you're operating a Web3 education program, or also the talent recruitment program, as well as recently launched the techFiesta. I think it's really very innovative and really great. So myself. I'm Sunny Jiang. I'm based in the Netherlands. I'm very active in blockchain and Web3 space. And I'm a founder and a CEO of Mars Ventures, which we try to build services, protocols, as well as a new solution for accelerating Web3 ventures. As Maria mentioned, well, because myself, I have computer science and international business background, so somehow even though I'm not working as a software engineer, that's not my goal, but I participated to many hackathons in the past. Yes, till now, I think 5 times, series 1, 5 times. First time in Berlin, and then ETHGlobal New York, and then San Francisco, and then East Lisbon, and the recent one was ETHGlobal Paris. So during these 5 times, I really gained a lot of insights and also experiences of, wow, what does hackathon mean at least to me or to people. And well, it was great experience, regardless to win prizes or not. But of course, winning prize is a great recognition and reward. While on the other hand, I think the value can be much more than the bounty or prizes itself. For instance, the effect of learning and the effect of networking, that you got to know great people and also expose yourself to the sponsors. I think the sponsors are really most of them are the most hottest companies for in the industry for now. So it that gives us a chance to connect to those companies directly. Probably their developer or their managers are there, so you can really, if you want to impress them, that's a very good moment. So for us, I think maybe States is really a great a fortune place for us, because we won 2 times in the States, in New York and San Francisco. If I look back at the experiences, I think it was amazing to have a great team together, and we work out the idea in a very short time. If you have experience about hackathon, you will know it is very intensive. It's called 1 weekend, but in fact, officially it says 36 hours. While effectively, I would say it's even less than 24 hours. Starting from you work for your solution, because you need time to build a team, you need time to think about what idea to go, and also in between. Well, even though it is said sleep is an option, and while I don't know, a lot of the developers, they just sacrifice somehow and just hack overnight. It's very heavy. While in such a short time to work out a demo, I would say it is amazing, because normally if you do that at home or you do that in a kind of more casual way, it takes at least weeks or even longer to achieve what you achieve in just one weekend. So in this regard, I would say hackathon is a great platform or events for not only developers, because in your team you need various skills of people. For example, you need a product manager, you need of course you need a developer as well, and you also need well, the other role players in the team to work together. So that exactly is the points that try to reflect what Maria said. If we look from hackathon to startup, because the requirements are quite different. Because startup, you're working on a solution which fits to the market, and that, well, it's not only the demo itself, of course, a solution or services which fits to the market, and also you need to continuous to try to convince, for instance, investors to get funding, or a lot of those kind of things. So yeah, maybe it'd be too long already talk to now. Yeah.
So Sunny, tell me now, you won twice the ETHGlobal. So this is a very, like, the place to be, I think. One of the largest events in the blockchain industry, one of the largest hackathons. Tell us, with what idea did you win? And something that you mentioned is the team. Please tell me about your team. Do you go to these hackathons with the same team, or do you form a new team at each event?
Yeah. Well, to be frank, I think the whole process for me is random. It's random because I didn't have a team before I go, and I also do not expect who I will work with, in fact. And somehow it is just either one day before that, 2 days before that, or maybe during in the first day, I would say, during the so-called matchmaking of team formation. And well, I think something important that you have to sense a little bit. First, ask yourself what you are, what excites you the most, I would say, because everybody may try different direction or try different solutions. It depends on what kind of a skill set they have. Also depends on what is interesting to them, combining their own background. So from that regard, I think for the first case in New York, where we won, we go more in the direction of NFT, I would say. That's because at that moment, I think it's it's in June last year, so more than 1 year ago. And we want to try NFT, direction of NFT. So it's very funny that I would say people first and idea second, because the idea you can always form and change and polish and improve. Well, if you have a team fixed more or less, then your capacity somehow is fixed already, because it is a sum up of the whole skill set of your team. That's it. And so it's important in the beginning to look, yeah, in general, what kind of direction you want to go. Maybe not just very concrete idea, but what direction you want to go, and who may be interested in this direction as well, and what kind of experience or skill they have, something like that. So in New York, we build a kind of NFT platform. It's kind of a
Anita.
It's kind of a gamified platform for artists to empower them and for the creativity industry. So that is the direction. And the second case in San Francisco, that's really amazing experience because I met a really great dev called Dan. He's from New York, and he worked a long time in artificial intelligence and also in the kind of software engineering direction. And in fact, it is his idea that he want to try out something for metaverse. And that idea that interests me a lot because I am also quite interested about metaverse. And from Dell, then we go kind of dive deeper of what's exactly that we're going to build during that hackathon. So just to make it short, what we build is a kind of interaction layer for metaverse, because we identify the pain point for metaverse is that there's no interaction. In fact, in the current solution, you as an avatar, you enter in, and you basically you just look around, but there's no any interaction in between. But we want to identify all the actions and as an interaction layer using a very new technology by then, because this event was in November last year, and that new technology was officially released in September last year. So it's really something new. So if I look back, why those ideas stands out, I would say we do apply the very new and very trendy technology. That's one. And second, I think a very important part is that it's not only technical building, it's also it's storytelling, even in a hackathon, because you need to convince to the judge and convince to the sponsor that your idea has value or really. So one part is that they check the code, but and another part, they only have 3 minutes or 5 minutes to listen to you what's idea you have, and just think about they need to listen to probably maybe 300 teams in a day. How tired they could be after 2 hours, 3 hours. So it's really important that the team is really good at also telling the story. That's why it's also important the whole team has different structure and different talent to team up together. And I would say in the standard team formation, it's up to 5%. Or of course, some people they hack solo because they think they can. Of course, that's very heavy, I would say. For me, I would prefer 2 to 3%, and then somehow you share work together. But it's not that large. Not that large, because 5 people sometimes it's difficult to coordinate. Yeah.
Yes, Sunny, it's so true what you said about the storytelling and how you actually communicate your idea. I was myself part of a jury yesterday for a hackathon that we recently completed. And we were reviewing the different projects, and you don't have much time, as you said, you have only few minutes per project. And if the project doesn't really communicate, the team doesn't really communicate well their idea and what's unique about them and why even they're using blockchain technology, then it's very hard to remember this project and to actually classify it as one of the finalists.
Yeah.
So this is extremely true. And you need a mix of talent for that, because very often developers are not the great storytellers, right? There might be great coders, but communication is not always their strong skill. So that's why you also need people who can do the storytelling, do this. I would call it more the business side of the project. And 2 to 3 people, I would agree with you. It's the best combination, because then you don't have so much coordination between the team as well. With 5 people, I imagine it's much more work to coordinate. I just have one last question about this team. So the matchmaking part, like, how do you really identify who would be a good team member for you, like for your team? What questions do you ask them?
Wow, that's I think really is sometimes it's just about luck. That's well, or maybe just your kind of you feel that that's the person that you can work together, and with some because this is a mutual kind of a mutual selection or team up. Normally basically just a very simple question of the background and skill sets, and also the motivation, also maybe also experience. I think experience sometimes works, sometimes not, because I know from ETHGlobal every time they have around 1/3 of participants who are really new. I think that's great, because if it's just repeating with people who are really get used to that, then I think that's not the meaning of a hackathon, because you need to engage new people or whatever. That's also sometimes it's about yeah, how do what's your purpose or goal to participate to a hackathon? And if it can be diverse. For instance, if you target to learn, you target to for instance expose yourself. I think everybody will win this. No matter they get bounty or prize or not, they will. And on the other hand, those sponsors, I think, just one point on top of that, if the purpose of a person to participate to hackathon is prove the skill sets and also try to find a job, because this is also a great purpose, and I think that's also really great, and to impress, because they can prove that they did this and then they successfully integrated the technology in, and they can do that. So I think for that, I think you probably have a lot of experience when coordinating equivalence also with the company. I think that will be also great. On the other hand, there are few or very little cases which in fact it is an interesting question. I talked with WorldCoin in fact in Paris. First time or the second time I saw them in this kind of a hackathon occasion, and both of us are curious how many of the team, because normally in ETHGlobal they have kind of 1,500 around participants, and from there normally per time they have around 200 to 300 submissions. So you can say that's around 200 or 300 teams, and then among those teams who continue to build or who succeed later, and those are really questions interest for both of us. And then we just talk and we just exchange the information a little bit. Then we all figure out, of course, one company is really amazing and standing out. That is 1inch. Everybody know it's the largest decentralized exchange aggregator. And they were first in the hackathon of ETHGlobal Hackathon in New York in 2019, and 2 people. So in fact, it's the two co-founders. But the 2 of them are very strong. They are very strong, both strong in technical side, also strong in the commercial side, I would say. And from there, I think they are one of the winning projects. After that, they have a rocket speed to develop further within half a year to scale themselves up. And amazing, after 2 years, they raised almost 180 million US dollar funds with a valuation of 2.4 billion. That is just after 2 years of that hackathon. I think they are really exceptional and extraordinary case, and partly because their solution really fits the market, and it's what the market really needs, because we have so many liquidity pools, so many DApps. You don't know, in fact, which pool offers the best price for you to switch, and they create an algorithm to solve that problem, just offer you the best solution, in fact. So I think that is something market really needs, and they are very good at to create a very innovative solution and algorithm to fulfill that needs. That is the basis. And from there, both of the founders, I think they're very smart. They scale themselves very hard and very fast. Yeah.
Thank you, Sunny, for this example. I think it's really great to hear also like real life success stories, projects that came out of hackathons. I was researching this as well, and actually it's a fun fact that the Facebook like button, was also created during a hackathon.
Oh.
So, it's not only a company that you can create, but also a feature. A lot of companies can use hackathons actually to develop their products further or to create innovation within the company. So yeah, that's a great example. So this leads, of course, to the next question. What happens after the hackathon? Did you manage to answer the question, how many projects actually, let's go, survive after a hackathon and really turn into real projects, real companies? And in your opinion, what could a team do in order to turn their idea into a startup?
Yeah. From my own experience, I find it's very difficult. That's partially because when you team up for the hackathon, everybody stay there and for the same purpose, same goal in that weekend only, in fact. So to be frank, the output of a hackathon, a demo or a prototype, you call it, and that is somehow is the maximum you can do in one weekend. That's already really great, but that's not enough for instance to showcase to the investor or use that as a base, because you really record that you need a hardcore development further until you have really a decent MVP. So I think a lot of projects they do not have enough time, energy, and also dedication to bring that product into MVP. So this phase, I think a lot of projects stop somehow. And on the other hand, the funding parts, I think currently all the sponsors, when they are in the hackathon space, of course, they offer the bounties or prizes that is just for the hackathons itself. And some of them I know they have continuous support like grants or, but to be frank, those amounts are all, well, it's just small tickets. It's a small ticket. And I understand because those tech company, it is not their goal to incubate company. It's not their task. But I think it's important if the whole ecosystem to work together as an alliance. For instance, if we introduce VC or maybe the seed fund, whatever, already early in the hackathon space. And then we can also set up maybe not just one layer of hackathon. What we do now, hackathon is just one for all. But maybe we can differentiate or differentiate different layers. For instance, for the people with purpose of really try to build further and try to look for further support. Yeah, they get more. For instance, we should have a corner or with VC there as well. For instance, because that is something I find is lacking at this moment, because it's all tech sponsors are all about a solution, and you can ask for tech question, but nowhere you say, okay, because that's too far at that point. So I think if it's possible to integrate somehow to also get the interest of the current incubator or maybe together with VC to integrate them together with the hackathon and create a kind of path. And then for the company who really, or for the team who really want to go further, they know who to go to, and they are probably maybe to have a second time of evaluation, because first time of judge it's just about judge whether you get award or you get prizes. But maybe for we do one more step further, and for the company who are screaming a little bit with the company who has potential to go further or they're willing to go further, they should go to the second pool, and from there they get further support. I think if we create different structure, this kind of multi-structure for the hackathon, I think that will be helpful for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, Sunny, definitely. And this is actually something that we would love to integrate to techFiesta. So in the next step of the development of techFiesta, we want to create a full ecosystem. So now we have the winners of the hackathons, but what's next for them? So we want to introduce investors to these projects. One feedback that we have been getting from investors is that, as you also said, when you finish a hackathon, it's just an idea and a small prototype. It's not ready for an investment. Yeah. So this is the issue basically for investors to jump in so early. Yeah. But of course, getting to know the projects in this early stage and maybe seeing in just 3 additional months of development, they can bring the project to the next stage. So also seeing that speed would make them or would bring them to invest in a startup. So actually creating this ecosystem where investors could track the winners and could receive frequent information is also very important. So as you said, maybe first getting a small grant in order to fund the first months of development and then reach out to the investors is a good idea.
Yeah, on top of that, I think that's really a brilliant idea to develop further for techFiesta. And another point is that maybe a kind of a new type of incubator can be a bridge in between, because the founding team, they not only the product itself and the team, maybe they are not experienced as a founder to bring the product out to the market, something like that. They need the training, they need coaching, they also need to figure out what works, what doesn't. So it all takes time. So I'm thinking, because current incubation program, none of the program started from hackathon. So I think that's a great opportunity to create something innovative, something new. I think the current one, they are more starting from recruits team and recruits. To be frank, that is already somehow in the, not saying still early stage startup, but they are somehow already established. So they're starting to incubate a company who already established. And then in between, from 0 to that point, it is still, the company in that phase, they still didn't get support. So I think it's great to also create kind of a bridging incubation program to, on the one hand, to try to provide continuous support to the team and to coach them, support them, and also to the next level of grants, one step further than price. And from there, also very important to support and build MVP, because that still takes time to do. And from that point, I think it's natural to engage, for instance, funding or VC or the others. Yeah, for that point, I think we're also very interested for Mass Ventures as well, to see how can we maybe build the solution to for this ecosystem together.
Yeah, we can definitely discuss that in a separate call. So Sunny, we spoke now about how to basically, from your experience, how to be a winner in a hackathon, what ideas you think, or how to get a cool idea to build during a hackathon, building a team, and also what's next after the hackathon, right? So just one last question before I open to the rest to ask. So what do you think are the possibilities? So why should I, as a winning team, actually build further? Why should I build further on my idea?
That's really great question. I think everything should start with why, because what's the purpose to do one thing, right? The most of value, let's see, first is whether we care about create impact to society or not. I think that's really the high level of your motivation. So do you want to create impact to the society? And if it doesn't make sense to you, okay, you just find a job or whatever, and that's fine. But if you really want to do something, and for instance, also if we have our hearts or our soul in Web3, and we know now is the time that we can do something, and then to make that impact. And I think a great way is to build a solution, build a platform, or build a services which can benefit the public. I think that is the way to go. And by doing so, either you create program, you create company, or just like what you're also a great entrepreneur in this space. So also look for long term the value of the activity. If you target only kind of a one-time practice, after the one-time practice, it just somehow like a learning. That is done. But if you're looking for long-term effect or more sustainable kind of impact to yourself or to your life as well, then I think it's great to become an entrepreneur and then to build a product and then to try it out. Of course, well, we all know the success rate. Let's say in the traditional entrepreneur world, I think they say 90% of a company may fail, but still it's great to try. So building those product or services benefits definitely for the participants. Level one is learning, right? In the minimum level, you learn, right? So you learn how to use the technology, how to integrate that, and what's the hottest trend now in the industry. And the second level, you expose yourself, because everybody need to be visible, and that's their own responsibility to make themselves visible. So during hackathon, you can interact with your teammates, you can interact with the mentors, you can interact with the sponsors. I think that's a great chance to expose yourself. So at least these two you can gain, and then on top of that, if you really are very determined to build a product or services and bring that out to the market, then it is a great way to prove the concept somehow. Because well, we care about two proof. One is proof the concept to the market, whether the market fits, and second is the technical proof, whether technically that can be realized. So with a hackathon in such a short time, in fact, you can validate a lot of things, and then you have answers. Okay, that works, or that can be. So that's, I think, provide a great value for the person to continue further of that idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you for answering all my questions and for this amazing discussion. Now, I would like to open or give the microphone to someone else who wants to ask a question. You can also ask a question in the chat if you wish. So guys, please, if you have any questions, raise your hand or unmute yourself directly and speak. Maybe while we're waiting for someone to ask a question, I don't know if there are any. Can you tell us what you do at Mass Ventures? Oh, there's a question. All right. Oh, it's a long one. Sunny, oh, it's a direct message to me, so I'll just read it. Sunny, we've had an incredible journey from participating in hackathons to building our project, the NFT Factory. What advice can you share on transitioning from a hackathon project to a successful startup, particularly within the blockchain and NFT space? Are there specific gaps or possibilities that you believe are crucial for teams like ours to explore for long-term success?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because that's the core. That's the core what we try to discuss in this session. If you have already building a kind of demo or building or MVP during hackathon and after hackathon, that's a great start. I would say that's a great start. But from there until you become a successful startup, there are many factors. One, that's you should have a really good team. Yeah, you should have a really good team. That's the first one. And second is that you really have to try it out as fast as possible to prove that whether your product fits to the market. So the market product fits is very, very important. And try to test that as early as possible. And when you get the feedback, and also if you saw maybe somewhere doesn't fit, then try to adjust as fast as possible. And then I think the third part, very important, is that try to get traction. I think because I'm also mentor in the Outside Ventures, I saw a lot of really top startups who were admitted in. I think one feature they all have is that they proved that they have user. So the traction is very important. So just try it out. For instance, can you just give yourself a question? Can you attract, I don't know, 100 artists or maybe 1,000 users within 1 month? Or just give yourself this kind of task and to see how fast, what kind of approach you can do that. But if not, that's also good feedback. Then you should question yourself, why not? Is because the product not good enough, or it's not attractive enough, or it's not what they want, or what? So try to figure out what they need, and what you offer fulfill their needs. I think this is something very important in the very, very early stage. And from there, if you proved your product fits and you somehow gain some traction and you have a sound team with these three, you somehow already can pitch to the VC and try to get your first pre-seed fund or seed fund in. And with this fund, normally pre-seed or seed fund, we talk about around 1 million, from several hundred K to 2 million, let's say. So in this level, so if you can get this fund in, that will be really great. On the one hand, well, it's a confidence of the VC to you as well, the team, the products. On the other hand, you get more financial support to build your team further. For instance, in the beginning, maybe you don't have a professional team for marketing or the other function. Now with the money, you can do that further. So it is step by step, but I think it's important first to optimize yourself. On the other hand, also look who can you partner with, and try to work with the best companies and the best partners, because those partners can really become your shortcuts. For instance, I really like what Maria did to team up with Human Protocol, for instance. I think that's really great. Find a great partner and then to work with them and then to see how this platform and together with them that you can bring out a kind of a joint solution or a kind of a program to the user and which can strengthen both of you. Then I think that is also a great way to scale. And in the early stage, especially if we don't have money, we don't have anything. So just try that out.
Great. Thanks, Sunny, so much for this answer. Now we have 2 more questions, and I would leave that to that because we have to close the event soon, guys. So Anthony is asking, how can one deal with setbacks? As living in Africa, most of the hackathons are location specific, and there's not really much blockchain opportunities. Well, first, I would like to answer to this question. Join techFiesta, right? So we are offering virtual hackathons where everyone can participate. And we recently even hosted a hackathon specifically for the African market with great awards and great opportunities. So, but Sunny, let's leave it to you now. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I would love to see all challenges as opportunities. If we say, oh, there's zero, for instance, in fact, it is yes. ETHGlobal has never hackathon, for instance, in Africa till now. They never did. Well, you can think this is a great opportunity because if they never did, then why not? That I'm the person to connect with them to make it the first one here. Right, so that is if you are a creator, you can think about you become a kind of a local contact of ETHGlobal, and then to make this happen, and that is one way. And the second is that I think there are a lot of online hackathon. The platform Maria built also is great to participate. That third is that if there is a chance, for instance, if you look for neighborhoods, I don't know if close in the neighborhood, you can find the offline or in-person hackathon. Just try, because yeah, it doesn't matter who hosts it. It's great because I saw hundreds of thousands of hackathons, not only from ETHGlobal. Of course, they are one of the biggest facilitator, but there are so many. For instance, Polygon or Human Protocol or 1inch. I think many of them they all have their own hack house, Polkadot, for instance. So also try to do some research a little bit to maybe just name who are the top 20 or top 50 active kind of companies in the Web3 space who actively host hackathons, something like that. I do saw a lot. For instance, Polkadot they did, Solana and Near, and a lot. So if you know their picture, their agenda, and then maybe you can choose which agenda maybe fits you the best. And again, if nothing fits, go back to my first explanation, then you can think about you are the person who first create that for them in Africa or in your region or country. I think that's also very creative. What I observed recently is several accelerator incubator, they expand themselves to Africa. For instance, the one in Switzerland, they expand themselves in, I think, in Cape Town, I think. So so see that as opportunity. If not, then why not you or I, we can, or just find people who like-minded to create that together, right?
Thank you, Sunny. Last question. Thanks for the presentation. I worked on pet adoption. I just got the idea to do it, but I have never seen it done anywhere. So basically it's a novel idea, right? Please, what's your advice in working on a startup involving a novel idea and without a template to learn from?
Well, I think that's challenging somehow. On the one hand, is to you as kind of a user or participants. On the other hand, it's also a challenge for the startup themselves, because basically, if they develop well, they should have a very friendly kind of a documents or user interface or this kind of supporting environment also built to engage the developer, engage the user, or engage the public. Well, yeah, it's all step by step. Maybe they're not yet moving to that step. And if that's cause frustration, then I think the best way is really connect them directly, and ask questions directly. And also, well, it depends on what's your role or to interact with them. For instance, if your goal is to find a job, or if your goal, I think that's a great moment. You can say that part is lacking. Maybe I can support you to do that part, right? So promote yourself and try to add value to them. That is one thing. And second, if your goal is not, but it's more just like learning that platform, and you can become, they are very valuable user as well, and also try to reflect this value to them and feedback them directly, I would say. On the other hand, if that's really doesn't help, for instance, or why not also looking for similar other solutions or other startups or whatever, yeah, if you target to learn from. Yeah.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you everyone for participating in this event today, for asking questions, Sunny, for your contributions and sharing your experience. It was a pleasure listening to you. I feel like you have so much experience to share, and it's so great that you took the time to share it with us tonight. And yeah, I guess I'll see everyone at the next EcoLens and techFiesta event. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.